So we picked up a 1993 Honda 300 4-tracks. This thing is land and sea. It's got a submarine kit on it, so you could take her off in the water if you want it. But this is going to make work a hell of a lot easier around here. We got a few little issues with it. Something with the carburetor's not working right, but that's not a big deal. We got a trailer hitch for it, and later on we'll get a trailer hitch so we can haul stuff back and forth. Right now we'll just be putting stuff on the racks. It's not ideal, but it's a lot better than walking it all the way in there. We paid about $1,000 for this, and this will get us around this land pretty easy, I would think. It's going to make a huge difference around here. Well, as you can tell here, we got a lot of lumber down here. This was about 5 trips here with our Jeep, and some of the stuff is like 12, 13 feet long, so it was a little bit hard to get up the hill here, but we got her down. But this has got to build us an 8x8 shed, and hopefully a wood shed, and maybe something to do with gardening. We got about 60 2x6s here, and probably about 3 2x8s, and 10 or 12 4x4 posts, so, and some fencing. Over in the left-hand corner of our tiny home, we're going to be putting an 8x8 shed right here just to store all the tools and stuff in. And later on, I'm going to turn it into a little mini workshop of mine. I got a little wood stove for the shed actually too, so it should keep it warm in the wintertime. And we're super excited to get this built. So let's get to it. But one time this must have been a skidder trail. This actually goes all the way out to our road, and it made it super easy to cut out there for our trail for like the 4-wheeler and the Jeep and stuff. So as you can tell, it goes back probably another 100 feet or so, and I think it stops. So I don't know what year this was logged, but it must have been over at least 25 years or so, because some of these trees around here are pretty mature. So the cool part about this land, I actually get to share it with my brother and sister. This is family-owned land, and it's cool that when my father was my age, that he used to trap rabbits all the way through here. So that's a little cool piece of history for this land. And I'm super excited to be building the tiny cabin on this piece of land. It really means a lot to me to be able to do this in life. So my father actually passed away a few years ago, and I know he'd be super excited that we're using the land. So I'm glad to be down here, and I'm glad to make this our cabin.
Well, the good thing about it is we got soft soil.
We're not even to the soil yet.
Oh. Took us a little bit, but I think we finally have it level. Let's see. Perfect.
So if there's one thing I learned about carpentry is you can't think or you can't wing it. You gotta think 20 steps ahead before you can do one thing. For example, like we're building the bottom of this base. I had to cut these all at 93 inches so that way there will be 8 by 8 once you put the outside ones on. But I'll tell you, even today, I'm still learning a lot about carpentry. And so even when you guys comment down below, like tips and tricks on what the things to do, I actually learn a lot from it because as of right now, like I've been a handyman my whole life. It's just nobody ever taught me right or wrong. It's just the way I think I'm going to do it. Yep. So with the bottom part of this floor, we're just going to make 16-inch centers for these 2x6s. And then for the walls, when we put up the walls, we may do 2 feet, depending on how many 2x6s we have left. So now that we got it squared up, I'm just going to toe nail this into the 4x4 post just for it not to move when we're building on it. So we picked up these 1x6 just regular boards there from our local sawmill. I think these were $4 each and they were 8 feet, but we had them for another project which we cut off about 2 feet, but we still got the small pieces, so this should be enough for the base of this thing anyway. So we're actually in the middle of an ice storm right now. We started late on the shed there yesterday and we just got the base done itself. But we came down today and it's basically just freezing rain there all day, but we're going to see if we can get these 1x6 boards on top of this thing.
As you can see, we have a lot of yard work to do this summer to try and get this to dry up. We tried a bunch of stuff about 2 years ago, but we didn't come down much last year, so we couldn't work on it. If you guys have any tips on what we could do, we were thinking of just putting gravel down, but if you have a good idea or any suggestions on what we could do, that would be greatly appreciated. It's pretty much just here and then a little bit through our trail, which that doesn't really matter much to us, but we'd like to get this fixed. Nothing drives me more nuts than a mess outside or inside, but this is like old projects or just boards that we couldn't use, like cutoffs and stuff, but we're gonna slowly burn this now throughout the season, so we can get rid of it. But if you just see this in the background, don't worry, we're gonna get rid of it. It's just here for now.
So I made the front wall 8 feet high, and the back is going to be 6.5, so it's going to be a little bit of a lean-to. But I'm going to have to cut some of these trees down because I didn't realize it was going to be hitting the top. Other than that, it turned out pretty good so far, and it's a lot higher than what I expected, but that doesn't make any difference. We'll put a little loft in or something to store stuff.
Help.
Maybe. Battery must be getting low on this. Oh, too. Just feels like it. Like it's taking a long time to shoot.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But...
Oh, sorry.
yeah, I was like, whoa. Oh, it's a little weird.
So for this last wall, we're gonna have to build it here because we don't have enough room to pick it up off the ground and bring it up here. So we'll just build it while it's on the shed, and with the other walls on the shed, you can't build it on there. So we'll just build it here and work from there.
Yesterday was April 3rd, and you wouldn't believe that we got 5 centimeters of snow yesterday. But today we're down at the tiny, we're just wearing our sweaters. It's probably like 10 degrees. So winter is really trying to hang on this time around. But we're just taking a chill day down here at the tiny. We're doing some clearing of some of the trees that were in the way of the shed. And also I did some staining. So I got this wall all stained up. We're going to redo all the moldings, which is why it looks like that. And then I did this up there, which is part of the loft. And then I also did the stairs. They're still wet because it's like cold, but it was something I needed to get done. So I'm glad I got that done. And it's really mucky down here, especially during the springtime. And we have a dog that goes outside. So when she tracks mud and everything in here, the stairs get really dirty. So I just wanted to get those stained up. I think we're gonna put a nice runner down it when we can find one. And then I think those blue walls, I'm thinking about painting them green. I'm not sure yet. I feel like it needs to be an earthy tone. So I'm looking at changing that as well. But Bruce is just out here. He is cutting down some trees because if a few clips ago we had a tree that was right here and the branches were in the way of the top of the shed and it was dead anyway. As you can see, it's super dry and brittle. So he just got that cut down. We are trimming some of these branches as well.
For some reason when I built this on the platform, I didn't realize my header was upside down. I mean, it's only a shed anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it, but technically it would go the other way. So for the top of this roof, I'm going to be using 10-foot 2x6s, and they're 10 feet long. I'm going to cut out 2 birds' mouths, try it out, see if that works, and then I'll just trace the other ones off of this, and I'll have a foot overhang on the front. So I got the bird's mouth cut out. I've only done this like once or twice, and I'm not really sure. I think it's a 30-degree angle that you're supposed to cut out. But so I just go up there and trace it and find it out that way. But we got the first one done. We're just gonna trace the rest of these on here and cut them all out. I can't see. The framing is pretty well all done on the shed. We're just waiting on some I think it's called T111 siding panels. Regular down here, they're like $79 a sheet, but they're actually doing like a no tax event around here sometime in April. So we're gonna buy it then, and I think it's going on for either $38 or $40 a sheet, and you don't have to pay tax. So with the amount of sheets we need, and we'll probably just put corrugated plastic on the roof there for now instead of buying chipboard and all that other stuff. For what's left, there's no sense of buying it now because we'd be wasting about $500 if not more. So we're just going to wait for the no tax event at the end of April, and there'll be another part 2 to this shed build. Super excited to get it done, but we're just going to play the waiting game on the materials because they are expensive. That's it for this week's video. Next week's video, I think we're going to be installing a wood stove. We got a little tiny wood stove that we're going to be installing. So keep an eye on that video, and thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next vid.